Hello everyone, my name is Nadia Quispe, and in this short presentation I would like to share with you the creative journey I went through while writing this fractured tale titled Peter Never Logs Out. But before delve deeper into this analysis, I would like to begin with a question. Do you remember that classic story of Peter Pan? That magical boy who never grows up, who flies through the skies of Neverland, fights pirates, and lives endless moments with the lost boys. For many of us, that story was part of our childhood. But what happens when we revisit these classics with new eyes or through contemporary lens? That was my goal when I started this writing process. I decided to fracture the well-known story of Peter Pan and reimagine it in a world that today's children are deeply familiar with, the digital world. I do believe that Peter Pan is still relevant because the themes it explores, such as growing up, identity, friendship, imagination, are timeless. However, children today, especially those between 9 and 12 years old, live in a very different context. Their world is filled with technology, virtual experiences, and screens. At that age, children start developing a deeper understanding of themselves and the world around them. They enjoy stories where characters face challenges similar to their own. They're interested in belonging, autonomy, and also in escaping reality, just like Peter Pan. So I asked myself, what could Peter Pan look like today? And this is when I introduced you to my new Peter Pan. In my fractured version, Peter is no longer flying through the skies. He flies, but in a digital world. He doesn't fight pirates. He battles distractions, the fear of missing out, and the pressure of constant connection. He never logs out because his reality has become a virtual one. I created a new character as well, his friends, One Light, who slowly helps Peter rediscover real life experiences, parks, rivers, natures, friends. Their friendship becomes a bridge between both worlds. So this version of Peter Pan can represent many children today. Kids who are surrounded by technology, who feels more comfortable online than offline, and who might even struggle to disconnect. As regards the pedagogical potential, well, of course, as a future English teacher, I am very interested in how stories can support learning, reflection, and emotional growth. And I do believe this fractured fairy tale has great pedagogical potential for many reasons. First, because it deals with relevant topics, it addresses current issues such as screen addiction, virtual identity, digital well-being, and time management. And this is a very important issue, and I think that teachers need to help students to become aware to the use of time and to create a balance between online and offline. Then emotional connection. Students can identify with Peter's challenges. They are not abstracts, they are part of daily life. Then, of course, language learning. The story can be used to practice grammar, of course, dealing with past tenses, narrative voice, vocabulary, such as terminology, feelings, and creative writing as well. And then values and reflection, because it opens up discussion about the importance of balancing real life and digital life. friendship, imagination, and self-awareness as well. And then moving to the connection to the curricular design, my story is connected to the curricular design of the province of Buenos Aires in several key ways. First, because it promotes creative writing and reading of literacy texts, both classic and contemporary. It fosters critical thinking by encouraging students to analyze and reimagine stories in modern context. It also supports intercultural education because we are revisiting a British classic but adapting it to our present day or local reality, let's say. And it also contributes to digital literacy and citizenship, which are increasingly important in today's classroom. And moving on to readability, to support comprehension, I wrote the story in short paragraph and I use headings like part 1, for example, is called Peter and the Glowing Word. And the vocabulary includes words that are interesting to children today, such as virtual reality, headset, floating island, and I repeat expressions like real world and the game, and to help students understand and remember. And that makes it easy for English learners to follow the story, I think. And of course, I would like to mention the changes I made to the original tale. In this fractured version, I changed the setting from a magical Neverland to a virtual world. Then I changed the culture because today's children live in a digital society. I also added technology with limits because time in the game freezes but real time goes on. And I set it in the real world with the modern problems like screen addiction. And I also rewrote the moral because growing up is not the end of magic, it is a new beginning. I would like to mention also the themes and values I explore in this fractured story. The story explores important themes like the use of time and the balance between online and offline life. This is really important for me. Then the value of real experiences, growing up as something positive, and friendship and emotional awareness. I do believe these are meaningful topics or themes for this age group and support real life reflection. Now, before I move on to my final reflection, I would like to suggest some ways in which this story could be used in the classroom. So I took some notes. I would like to read you some activities I think would be very useful to work with. For example, we can create a pre-reading discussion. We can ask students what they know about Peter Pan, the classic one, and how they spend their time online. So this can lead to a conversation about virtual identity and real life identity. Then we can create some writing activity. Students can write an alternative ending or a sequel so they can imagine what happens if one light visits Peter's world or if Peter visits hers again. We can also deal with some kind of art or design activity because we can invite students to draw two versions of Neverland, the virtual one and the real one. So they of course could apply some different materials for these two different Neverlands. So they can think about different colors, textures, images for each of them. Then we can also work with the cross-curricular design because we can contribute with the drama teacher and we can create a drama activity. For example, students can act out a scene where Peter and one night debate whether the virtual or the real world is better. This will be very useful and funny, I think. And of course, we can deal with vocabulary and language focus because we can work with metaphorical language and story like glowing words, screens like stars, flying without wings, and we can help students to explore symbolism and descriptive writing. So all of these activities promote creativity, critical thinking, and emotional intelligence while helping students reflect on their own realities. So to round up this presentation, I would like to share with you my final reflection about this task. For me, one of the most important things about this fractal story is its message. Technology and artificial intelligence are here to stay, we all know that. And that's okay, they are incredible tools. But it is essential that children learn to manage their time online and understand that the virtual world is not a real world. So there's still a lot of value in face-to-face friendship, playing outside, and being bored sometimes as well. Those are spaces where creativity grows. And I really want my students to see that message in this Peter story. Thank you.